trauma or deformities.
A very good evening to all our viewers. You're watching World News on CVR English with me, Asma Afreen. Officials reported that the Shanghai Cooperation Organization meeting formally opened at Russia's National Center in Moscow, with Prime Minister Mikhail Mishustin delivering the inaugural remarks. He was said to have described the SCO as an association of like-minded nations committed to building a multipolar world order. Mishustin emphasized the need for deeper economic coordination among member states and highlighted the importance of utilizing the bloc's vast Eurasian geography to enhance the quality of life for citizens. Delegations from various countries gathered to deliberate on key issues including regional security, trade integration, connectivity, and the future of Eurasian cooperation. The meeting was described as a significant step towards strengthening collaboration across the region.
Is everyone ready? All right. Colleagues, we are now continuing our work here in the Russian National Center. We have an extended format meeting with heads of governments and representatives of international organizations. The Prime Minister of Mongolia is attending as an observer, Mr. Zandan Shatar, and also the Foreign Minister of Qatar, Mr. Al-Thani, and all the other guests. I suggest that we proceed with the agenda, and I will begin my speech on behalf of the Russian Federation. President Putin spoke at the summit in China in September and said that the Shanghai Cooperation Organization is an association of like-minded countries that stand for a fair multipolar order. Last year, our exports accounted for a fifth of the global export amount, and the share of the SCO in the regional product is a third. According to forecasts, it will grow to 35%. The SCO currently includes 10 countries, 2 observer states, and 15 partners. Our geography spans the Eurasian continent, and we must use this potential to increase the quality of life for citizens. And this was the focus of our chairmanship in the Council of Heads of Government. We focused on promoting a trade and economic cooperation, financial cooperation, youth councils, water bank, association, regional cooperation, and other initiatives were especially active. Creating an energy cooperation structures based on equal partnership, developing transport connectivity, expanding corridors, have all been important initiatives. The introduction of new digital technologies and services were important. In the agricultural sector, a new breeding and green cultivation technologies are prioritized to provide new kinds of new levels of food security in global markets. In order to make our plans come true, we need a reliable financial infrastructure. We have an expert group convened by Russia to carry out. Is everyone ready? All right. Colleagues, we are now continuing our heads of governments and representatives of international organizations. The Prime Minister of Mongolia is attending as an observer, Mr. Zandan Shatar, and also the Foreign Minister of Qatar, Mr. Al-Thani.
Reports recall the moment when Donald Trump first introduced Elon Musk to Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman during an event in Riyadh. Observers noted that the meeting symbolized growing ties between technology, business and political leadership, drawing significant international attention. Commentators explained that Musk's presence alongside Trump and the Crown Prince highlighted the intersection of innovation and global diplomacy. Analysts added that the discussion at the time were seen as part of broader efforts to strengthen cooperation in investment and technology. Attention is now set to be shifting toward the possibility of a second meeting at the White House, which many believe could carry major implications for future economic and strategic partnerships. Reports stated that US President Donald Trump, while speaking in the Oval Office, expressed his willingness to consider launching strikes against Mexico if such measures would help curb the trafficking of illegal drugs into the United States. He was quoted as saying that he was prepared to take whatever we have to do to halt the flow of narcotics. Observers noted that his remarks underscored a tough stance on broader security and drug enforcement, reflecting his administration's focus on combating organized crime and protecting American communities. Analysts explained that the statement could have significant implications for US-Mexico relations, raising questions about future cooperation and strategies to address cross-border drug trafficking.
Worldwide, I think it's got to be more. So it's great. You know, when Johnny and I made the deal, I'd end up there with me, Darren. We'll be watching it. So right opposite the front door of the White House. Would I launch strikes in Mexico to stop drugs? It's okay with me. Whatever we have to do to stop drugs. Mexico is, look, I looked at Mexico City over the weekend. There's some big problems over there. If we had to, would we do there what we've done to the waterways? You know, there's almost no drugs coming in through our waterways anymore. Isn't it down like 85%?
It is, sir. Absolutely.
I don't know who the 15% would be.
Yep.
It wouldn't be you.
No, that's for sure.
No, I think it's been,
Tons and tons of
you would say
drugs.
that's a big signal.
Absolutely.
We have almost no drugs coming into our country by the sea, by, you know, the waterways. And you know why, okay? I mean, it's pretty obvious. Would I do that on the land corridors? I would absolutely. Look, every boat we knock out, we save 25,000 American lives, not to mention the destruction of families.
Do you only do it with Mexico's permission, though?
I wouldn't answer that question. I've been speaking to Mexico. They know how I stand. We're losing hundreds of thousands of people to drugs. So now we've stopped the waterways, but we know every route. We know every route. We know the addresses of every drug lord. We know their address. We know their front door. We know everything about every one of them. They're killing our people. That's like a war. Would I do it? I'd be proud to. I'd probably go into Congress and say, hey, and you know what? The Democrats and the Republicans would both agree.
Reports stated that thousands of people across the Czech Republic and Slovakia gathered to commemorate the anniversary of the 1989 Velvet Revolution. Demonstrators in Bratislava were said to have railed against what they perceived as democratic backsliding and pro-Russian policies under Slovak Prime Minister Robert Fico. Crowds reportedly warned that increasing political pressure on media weakened anti-corruption oversight and changes in foreign policy could undermine the democratic principles that the Velvet Revolution represented. Observers explained that the protest highlighted public concern over safeguarding freedoms and maintaining democratic accountability in the region. The anniversary was described as both a remembrance of past struggles and a call to defend democratic values in the present.
We have almost no drugs coming into our country by the sea. We have lost hundreds of thousands of people a year, death. And that's not talking about family destruction, that's talking about death. And much of it comes through Mexico. So let me just put it this way. I am not happy with Mexico, okay? Thank you very much. Thank you guys. Worldwide, I think it's got to be more. So it's great. You know, when Johnny and I made the deal, I'd end up there with me, Darren. We'll be watching it. So right opposite the front door of the White House. Would I launch strikes in Mexico to stop drugs? It's okay with me. Whatever we have to do to stop drugs, Mexico is...
My sme tam ako malé deti štrngali, aby bola zmena. A my si tú zmenu, tú demokraciu si vážime, však o to nám ide. Ťažko je nám takto, že vidíme, akým smerom sa to uberá.
Reports stated that Iraq's election commission has officially confirmed the final results of the parliamentary polls. Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani's coalition was said to have secured first place with 46 seats in the 329-member parliament. Observers noted that no single party has won enough seats to form a government independently, meaning coalition negotiations will now be required. Analysts explained that the process of building alliance among various political blocs could take months, reflecting the complexity of Iraq's political landscape. The announcement was described as a key step in shaping the country's future governance, with attention now turning to how different factions will cooperate to establish a stable administration.
تعلن المفوضية هذا اليوم النتائج النهائية للعملية الانتخابية التي شهدت حضورا لافتا من الناخبين والذين عبروا عن إرادتهم بحرية تامة وفي أجواء آمنة، وأسهمت المشاركة الجماهيرية الواسعة لأبناء شعبنا في نجاح الانتخابات وتعزيز مسيرة الديمقراطية في عراقنا الحبيب. وعملت المفوضية طيلة مراحل العملية الانتخابية بأعلى درجات المهنية والشفافية والنزاهة للوفاء بالتزاماتها الدستورية والقانونية.
عدد المقاعد الكلي لمحافظة بغداد هو 71 مقعد وعدد المقاعد العامة 69 مقعد، وعدد مقاعد الكوتا للأقليات هو مقعدين. عدد مقاعد النساء هو 17 مقعد. تحالف عزم العراق حصل في المرتبة الأولى ائتلاف الإعمار والتنمية حصل على 411,000 صوت و300 صوت، وعدد المقاعد التي حصل عليها 15. في المرتبة الثانية حزب تقدم برقم 255، مجموع الأصوات التي حصل عليها 277,411 416 صوت، وعدد المقاعد التي حصل عليها 10 مقاعد. في المرتبة الثالثة ائتلاف دولة القانون رقم الكيان 257، حصل على مجموع أصوات 228,300 صوت، وعدد المقاعد التي حصل عليها 9 على 2,300.
أسماء الفائزين من مرشحين انتخابات مجلس النواب لمحافظة ميسان. أولا رقم الكيان 207، اسم الكيان ائتلاف.
Reports indicated that heavy winter rains have severely flooded displacement camps across Gaza, adding to an already dire humanitarian situation. Families living in torn tents were said to have struggled to drain water and keep warm as storms swept through the area. Displaced residents described sleepless nights, soaked bedding, and repeated winters of hardship. Footage reportedly showed flooded tents, damaged shelters, and families attempting to shield their children from the cold. Observers explained that the flooding has worsened living conditions for thousands already facing shortages of basic necessities, underscoring the urgent need for humanitarian support. The situation was described as a stark reminder of the vulnerability of displaced communities during harsh winter weather.
ما عرفناش ننام يعني. فيش، هي 3 سنين، هي السنه الثالثه واحنا بنيجي ورا الاولاد وبندف فيهم وبنجري فيهم وبنيجي وراهم. مش عارف ايش ده سوى.
Reports stated that the Russian pavilion at the Dubai Air Show 2025 is presenting a vast display of aviation and defense technology with around 900 models and 30 full-scale systems on exhibit. Footage was said to have captured aircraft, helicopters, missiles, and other innovations from Russia's leading aerospace and defense companies. Officials noted that the first Deputy Prime Minister Denis Mantrovo and Dmitry Shoigu, Director of the Russian Federal Services for Military Technical Cooperation, attended the exhibition. Covering 5,000 square meters, the pavilion highlights Russia's largest advancements in both military and civilian aviation. Observers explained that the air show, running from November 17 to 21, has drawn 1,48,000 visitors and 490 delegations from 115 countries under its Global Cooperation theme. Reports stated that Madagascar's interim president Michael Randrianirina addressed the nation in Antananarivo, insisting that the recent transfer of power was lawful and backed by the High Court Constitution Commission. He rejected accusations of a coup, explaining that the transition deflected demands from citizens, particularly youth and civil servants, after months of protest over power and water shortages. Randrianirina warned that the country had been on the brink of civil war and credited HCC approval with stabilizing the situation. Observers noted that the interim government is now focused on restructuring the state-owned utility, Jirama, addressing union concerns and rebuilding ties with the international community. Meanwhile, Madagascar's membership in the African Union has been suspended following the leadership change.
That was not a coup d'etat. To me, a coup d'etat means bringing soldiers, for example, marching toward the presidential palace, either in Iavaloha or in Ambohitsirohitra, bringing soldiers and guns and shooting people, injuring people, arresting people. That is not what happened. What happened is what we all saw in those videos. The demands made by the Malagasy people, especially the youth who joined the movement, when the unions and all the civil servants joined in. When they made their demands, that is what happened. Injuries, arrests, detentions. That is what the government did at that time, using what is called regulatory power, in French pouvoir régulateur, which the HCC took up and used. And they appointed us, the military under my command, to lead the country and the transition. Remember that if the HCC had not taken that decision, no one knows what state Madagascar would be in today, because we were close to, civil war at that time. Without the HCC giving us that mandate, we don't know what would have happened.
During his third visit to Spain, it was reported that Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky had begun his engagements by meeting with the presidents of both houses of parliament at the Spanish Congress. According to the office of Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez, Zelensky was expected to continue his schedule with talks involving Sánchez himself and King Felipe VI. The purpose of these meetings was said to be part of Zelensky's ongoing efforts to secure renewed backing from Spain in the face of Russia's continuing invasion of Ukraine. Observers noted that his visit underscored the importance of strengthening diplomatic ties and rallying international support as Ukraine sought to maintain momentum in its struggle against aggression and to reinforce solidarity among European allies. It was mentioned that French Interior Minister Laurent Nuance had formally inaugurated Millipol, recognized as the nation's foremost event dedicated to homeland security and safety. Reports indicated that the opening took place during his visit to the exhibition center located in the suburbs of Paris. Observers explained that the minister's presence at the event highlighted the government's commitment to strengthening security measures and showcasing innovations in public safety. The gathering was described as a significant platform where professionals, policymakers, and industry leaders could exchange ideas and present new technologies. Nuance's role in opening the event was seen as a symbolic gesture, underlining France's determination to remain at the forefront of addressing modern security challenges. The UN Security Council had voted in favor of a resolution drafted by the United States to strengthen Donald Trump's Gaza peace plan, which included provisions for deploying an international force. Accounts indicated that 13 members supported the text while Russia and China abstained, but neither exercised a veto. Washington was also said to have described the outcome as both historic and constructive, emphasizing its significance in advancing peace efforts in the region. Observers noted that the resolution reflected broad international backing despite some reservations and highlighted the Council's willingness to endorse measures aimed at stabilizing Gaza and promoting dialogue. The decision was interpreted as a milestone in ongoing diplomatic initiatives. That's all for now. Keep watching CVR English.